Airbnbs are the worst thing to happen in real estate in South Florida. Here's why. If you live in a community where all these Airbnbs are popular, I want you guys to watch the full video and leave your thoughts down below. Guys, I just want to remind you, I am a local South Florida real estate agent. So if you're thinking about moving, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, give me a call at 954-544-6598. Everything's going to be in the description below on how to get in contact with me and book an appointment. Give me a text or a call. So around 2020, in the pandemic, 2020, 2021, a lot of people had the same idea to go ahead and buy all these properties down here in South Florida and put them on the market for Airbnbs. Guess what? A lot of these people all had the same idea, leading to the market becoming more and more and more saturated with these Airbnb properties. Also, what these new investors did not think about was using these properties for long-term rentals. They all calculated their profits on what the yield would be off of Airbnb short-term rentals when they know that they could get a higher price for that. What they were not thinking about is what happens when a recession hits or when traveling slows down, because now we're in the most economic hardship time ever. Today we're living in a world where it is the hardest it's the hardest affordability, right? 1 to 30 people are living in cars. That's a fact. There's around 25,000 car repossessions around the United States every single day. These Airbnb hosts did not think about what would be happening when a recession hits, when traveling slows down, when people cannot afford to live. Think about how high your grocery bills have been in the last 12 months compared to how they were a year ago. It is the most unaffordable time in U.S. history. So not only has these properties not been as lucrative in recent times as all of these investors planned for them to be, and that's why a lot of them are putting them back on the market now to offload them, get rid of them, work with a realtor like me to get them the highest price that they can get for them right now. Also, with everybody having the same idea to go buy all these Airbnb properties, guess what? The market got more and more saturated. So not only has the cost of living gone up and traveling rates have decreased versus what they were 4 years ago, the competition is so high because everybody wanted to hop on the Airbnb trend. The second part that I really want to touch on is there are two different types of these Airbnbs. They're the ones who bought single family home, but on the other hand, there are these guys who bought these condos, right? And what's happening in South Florida right now is not only is the price of insurance going up, condos owners are really having a hard time. So if you had an Airbnb down here and it happened to be a condo, you're definitely in a worse situation than somebody with a single family house. Not sure if you guys are aware of what happened in Surfside around 2-3 years ago. The whole building collapsed, which was a sad story. It lost a lot of lives, and it was something that should have never happened. But even though it is such a horrible situation, it did happen, right? So now these lawmakers are tightening up on all of these condo associations to make sure something like that does not happen again. The regulations on these condos are getting strict, and even more strict. There are condo owners out there who have to pay $50,000, $60,000 in new assessments that they unfortunately did not plan for. The market is showing us how bad these condo owners want out, right? Because if you take a look around a year ago at this same time, it was around four months of supply circulating. And if you take a look at the same condos in the same buildings around this year, it's around 6.8 months of supply. So that means these condo owners are putting it on the market, but they're not selling as quickly as they would like. There are some beautiful condos out there, but the thing is, buyers can't afford them, right? Not only can they not afford them, they don't want to take on the risk that comes with them. Because getting into a condo is not, buying a condo is not the same as buying a single family house. Because what you might be able to get approved for from a bank on a single family house at that same price, you probably won't be able to get it on a condo because of all the extra risks that are associated with them nowadays. The insurance prices are skyrocketing. And that's something that I'm not personally a fan of, because guess who has to deal with them? I also have to deal with them, and I don't like it. Yes, the banks are becoming more strict with who they are even allowing to get loans to buy these condos, because the risks are just so high, and insurance is going up. Everything is just getting higher and higher and higher in Florida. The cost of living is at the peak. So the negative effects that these Airbnbs are having on the local economy is it's driving the rent prices up way too high. When you think about a regular person who works a regular job, who's getting probably $17, $16, $18, $20 an hour, they can't afford to pay rent. Why? Because everywhere you go, there are all of these Airbnb properties who's only doing short-term rentals for such a high price. They're having to go further and further and further away from their jobs. And guess what? When you run out the local workers out of the city and keep them on going further and further and further from their workplace, you end up with no workers in the workplace. And the government, all the legislators, they're starting to see the effects of how skyrocketing these rents are such a negative on the economy, the local economy. We need these workers in order for everything to work. So now, certain cities are cracking down on if they're even allowing Airbnb properties to exist anymore. It's not the same game from 2-3 years ago where you could buy a house at a good price, put Airbnb, get it Airbnb'd out, and earn a decent sized profit. It's just not that same game anymore, because now the city rule makers are cracking down because they're seeing all the negative effects. So what happens next when, guess what? There's no more Airbnbs being allowed in certain cities. These Airbnb owners are screwed. It's one thing to deal with competition, but it's another thing to deal with the government. That's one thing I realized in life. I never want to have any beef, any smoke with the government. When the government is coming for you, they're gonna get you. That's just a fact. So with the government cracking down in all these cities that have these Airbnbs, because they're realizing all the negative that it's actually doing to the local economy, which is what we're gonna care about the most, there's gonna start being laws passed that are not gonna be allowing Airbnbs to exist in certain areas. And now, since you're not able to get any sort of income from it because you only wanted it for a short-term rental, unless you switch over to more of a long-term rental strategy, you're screwed. And that's it. But guys, as you know, I'm here to just tell you guys the truth, because that's what I care about. I care about you being at your best. And if you agree with me, go ahead and give a like to the video. If you disagree, still go ahead and subscribe and give a like to the video, because I do care about all of your opinions. And I'll leave it down in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on what's going on, your thoughts on where you think it's going to be. And I also have to remind you guys, if you guys are thinking about buying, selling, or investing, feel free to reach out to me at my number. Shoot me over a text or a call or email me. Whatever works better for you, I'm here for you. I love you guys. Do what you're supposed to do in this life to be great. Peace, love, positivity. I'm out of here.